Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome. Where's the camera? There it is. Welcome to boogLIFE. We're going to try this because I am so slammed right now at work that I'm going to try to do a quick boogLIFE chatter that I was supposed to do yesterday and drive at the same time. Is it possible? Let's find out. Oh, got somebody coming back there. All right, so there's a couple things I do want to talk about. I wanted to do a full-on Manny V kind of thing for the interview on Sunday. Oh, wrong way. But I didn't get around to it, so I might as well just talk for 20 minutes. That's how long it takes for me to get to work. So that's what I'm going to do for boogLIFE chatter and slash interview. Hopefully I don't knock the audio out of here, audio cable. All right, so let's do this. 20 minutes to stacked headquarters. First, we're going to go talk about APB, what it means, how you can support, and what it means for me and the bodyboarding world. And second, I want to talk about education. I was on the phone really quick with Kim Feast. He threw out a bunch of things, and I'm going to do my quick little part about educating you as being a bodyboarder in this day and age, and what the right things to do to support our sport. I think with those two things would be enough. So, and if some of this sounds redundant, I apologize, but I know there's people that probably have never heard these things. So I'm just going to start talking and driving. So I apologize, I'm not looking in the camera the entire time. So yeah, let's talk about the APB and what it really means and how it functions. And if I'm wrong, Alex Leone, Terry McKenna, Craig Haddon, all these, and anybody on the board, please correct me. Drop it down in the comment and let's chat about it. So the APB is a governing body it's the Association of Professional Bodyboarders, and it's a group of bodyboarders on a board that make decisions on how they think a world tour should be conducted, and it includes all the rules on scoring. It includes your conduct at events. It has a rule book that all the competitors have to follow. It also includes how a promoter can become a world tour stop. Grand Slam series, qualifying series, and all these, I'm not going to go in the details, but I'm just going to give it the general. So as the sanctioning body, they are the ones that give the okay or just give the guidelines on how to make an event a world tour stop. So for example, perfect example I'll put together is I'm in California. I want to have a world tour stop in Imperial Beach, California, and I want it to be a qualifying event. So to be a qualifying event, there's certain standards that have to be abided by. And those would include how many high quality judges. If there's a production, here's what you need. And just all these things that you have to check off the list to become a qualifying event on the APB World Tour. Now, if you want to be a Grand Slam APB World Tour event, you have to have, number one, a legitimate wave. So for me to have a Grand Slam series in Imperial Beach, it'll be very tough because it's a beach break and it's not a very consistent beach break. But I mean, when it's good, of course, the waves are fully, epic to be able to have an event. But you have to have like 4 or 5 days in a 10-day to 14-day window to make that happen. So IB probably won't be the ideal place, but for a Grand Slam series, let's say this. I'm an event promoter. I'm able to pull off permits, insurance, everything in Padang, or even Uluwatu racetracks on the inside. Let's just say that. For me to be able to have it at Padang, because it's consistent, the waves are good, I got the permits, I got the backing from the locals, I got the insurance, I'm able to pull this off because of my sponsorship. But now to make it a Grand Slam series on the APB World Tour, I have to abide by those things on the checklist, on the APB World Tour Grand Slam Series checklist, which includes a full board of judges, international judges that are qualified and are, I guess, certified through certain criteria to be able to sit on that panel of judges. You're going to have to not only make sure you hire them, you have to, I think, provide airfare, accommodation, and food for those judges for the duration of the contest window. So that right there is going to be easily, you know, $15,000 to $20,000 just to have judges. Now, if it's a Grand Slam series, you're also going to have a live webcast, and that also costs money. You're going to have to send and provide food for me, the technical, the production crew, whoever they are. That's why a lot of these events just hire the local production crews that are in the area, because it's going to cut down on their airfare, but they still have to feed them. They still have to put them up for accommodations. So, you know, the production crew, you'd have, everywhere's different, but you'd need somebody on the controls. You'll need a replay person. You'll need at least 2 to 3 cameramen or women. And you would have to make sure the internet is available. So put all that together and you're looking at another $15,000, $20,000, maybe even $30,000 to have a live webcast. So right off the bat, the organizer needs to set aside minimum, this is all just, I'm guessing, I don't know the numbers for sure, but at minimum, you're looking at $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 just to be able to have a Grand Slam Series event. But with that, you are going to get publicity up the yin-yang when it comes into the bodyboarding realm, the bodyboarding community. So that's why a lot of these event promoters turn to the government and use tourism as their main point, as to try to get that money from them, because it will be, you know, broadcast to the world. You saw the numbers. Our numbers are pretty freaking amazing when we have a pretty solid stream. But yeah, I mean, that's it. So what you're going to get is publicity, and you're going to have the best bodyboarders in the world show up at your location. They're going to take up some beds, you know, rent some hotels here and there. But the main advantage of being a Grand Slam Series, the top tier of a bodyboarding event on the World Tour, is you're going to have the best bodyboarders in the world at the best one of the best waves in the world, and you're going to be able to harness all that tourism if done correctly. All the riders would be, you know, publishing all of their images, all of their videos on top of the APB. So the exposure is for me worth it. I mean, if you want your city on the map when it comes to wave riding, because bodyboarders aren't the only ones watching a bodyboarding event in really good waves. You have surfers, you have SCPers, you got wave riders looking at the event if the waves are pumping, and you have the best riders out there. So one thing I also forgot is prize money. You have to have a minimum amount in the prize purse to make it worth it for these top guys to show up and compete at your event. So add that on there, you know, you're up into the $100,000 to put on an event. So the way to work it, I mean, you can cut a lot of costs, and people, organizers do, they'll ask the internet provider, hey, instead of us paying you $5,000 to supply the internet, can we add you as a sponsor and put your logo on everything? So right there, they're chipping away at their total cost, and there's $5,000. Oh shoot, somebody got rear-ended. I'm on the 5 North right now. So bummed, right before Lacoste Avenue, which is my exit. So yeah, that's some of the things that they can cut costs on, but they can't cut costs on prize money and making sure people are fed, the staff are fed, and then they got to, you know, they have to hire somebody to put together the scaffolding, and there's just so much involved at putting a Grand Slam event together. Totally possible, totally doable. And I mean, so now I hope this puts it in perspective, but somebody who puts together an APB Grand Slam or qualifying event are working their freaking asses off to make it happen. So that's why it kind of irks me a little bit when I see comments of people talking shit on either the production or this or that. The amount of hard work that goes into this, and to be criticized unconstructively, I don't even know if that's a word, but it kind of bums me out a little bit, because I wish you could see what I see when I'm on event. I like showing up to these events super early. I'm talking about, you know, I'm one of the first ones to show up on site usually, and then seeing the security guards that sit at these freaking event sites, making sure nobody steals or thrashes the things that are set up. I mean, these guys stay up all night, and to see them in the morning before they go home is like, it's just like, damn, these guys work all night just to make sure that we have the structure when it's showtime. And then you got, you know, the assistants, the promoters, all these guys have helpers throughout the entire event to make sure things are working the way they should be working, the way they planned it out. So yeah, I mean, just know that everybody is working their asses off behind the scenes to be able to produce not only a contest, but a live feed, you know, just the whole package is very crazy to me how it all comes together, especially at secluded places like Playa del North in Nazare. To pull that off there is pretty crazy, because there's nothing around. You got houses up on the hill, which is about half mile away, but still it's pretty remote. But so props to everybody in Chile, Brazil, and everybody who are part and want their event to be a part of the APB World Tour. Gracias, obrigado, and yeah, keep it rolling, man, because I think bodyboarding, we've gotten so far with the APB so far, we can't turn our backs on it. We got to keep supporting it. So if the APB calls out for support the tour for $10 a year, there's a reason for that. I mean, that $10 is going back into the tour. It's not going to buy the executives a brand new Porsche. No, it's going back into the sport and the tour that we love. So, I mean, I would suggest you guys do that. So if you guys have an extra $10, just throw it over there. That is going to go into making sure that this train keeps on chugging away. So support it monetarily, if anything. Support it with your, you know, cool comments or whatever you can do to support the APB tour, because you're essentially supporting the riders on the tour. I'm not going to give up bodyboarding until the day comes where guys like Jeff Hubbard or Jared Houston or Omri Laverne and, you know, these top guys Pierre Louis. I want them to be able to have a mortgage and have all these nice things that for the reason they're putting their body on the line. So that's it. PLC is a perfect leadway into what I'm going to talk about next, and that's corporate companies and where your money is going as a bodyboarder. So right off the bat, I've been struggling whether to put this out there or not, but it's my podcast. Why shouldn't I do it here? So this is the educational part. I'm already at 15 minutes. This is going to be short and sweet, and you've heard it all the time. Support those that support you. Plain and simple. When was the last time you seen the top bodyboarders wearing Billabong, wearing Quicksilver, wearing Volcom, wearing any one of these, corporate companies? The last time I can think was back in the 90s when they were sponsoring guys like Dave Ballard, Seamus Mercado, Paul Roach. Those were, the heydays when they finally took their head out of their asses and freaking realized that there's money to be made in bodyboarding. But for whatever reason, whether it's the cool factor or I don't know, it's just mind-boggling that here's an industry that will back you up if you back up one of our own. So that's why this part does piss me off. It really bugs me. And it's not the fault of the person buying Hurley, or not the fault of the person buying Volcom or paying for these freaking surf brands that put zero money back into bodyboarding. So I have a pair of, right now I'm wearing a pair of surf brand shorts. They were given to me, but I'm not gonna put it anywhere on social media. But I will say thanks to the guy. I'm like, man, I like these shorts. They're perfect. But if I am gonna take my hard-earned money as a bodyboarder, for 100% sure, I will never, ever spend a dime on Volcom. Not even, because as long as I can remember, they never sponsored a bodyboarder, ever. Maybe giving somebody a free pair of clothes or whatever, but to put hard-earned cash for a brand that has put zero money back into the sport that I love, well, fuck that. Fuck them. I'm not going to do that. And people say, well, there's no bodyboarding clothing brands. The hell there isn't. I mean, I'm wearing one right now, Home Break. This is a guy, Brian, he lives in San Diego, and he's a bodyboarder, and he's putting his heart and soul into this brand to put back into a company that he wants to put back into bodyboarding. And that day will come once everybody understands that if you're gonna spend your money, spend it on somebody that supports our freaking sport. Plain and simple. Perfect example. I mean, go to all these online shops, ebodyboarding.com. They have clothes there that you can spend your money on. What I'm saying is, don't spend your money on those companies, those surf brand clothing companies that are not supporting our own. So with that, PLC and Rip Curl, he's been sponsored by Rip Curl for I don't know how long. If I'm in France and I'm gonna buy a wetsuit or a t-shirt, I will buy Rip Curl because they are investing in PLC. So the reason why I say that is a Rip Curl distributor here in the US, the Rip Curl distributor in Australia, they're all different. So if Rip Curl America were to sponsor, I don't know, David Hubbard, fuck, I will only spend money on Rip Curl. But that's not happening. But if I'm in France, and I will buy Rip Curl because that France distributor is supporting PLC. So again, it's plain and simple, man, but don't fucking spend your money on these corporate surf brands that are not putting a freaking dime back into bodyboarding. That's it. That's if you walk away from this boogLIFE chatter or podcast, that's what it is. All right. So stop buying their stuff. If you want to be cool like a homeboy that's wearing Billabong or Hurley, then you're blowing it. You're not getting what I'm trying to say here. So that's it. I think we're at a good mark, 20 minutes. That's not bad. Probably the longest boogLIFE chatter, but I'll throw it up as a podcast too. I'll strip the audio out of this, but so there. I'm leaving you today with support the APB 100% if you can, and also stop buying corporate surf brand clothing companies that are not dumping money back into bodyboarding. There's plenty of brands out there that want to support bodyboarding, and it's up to you to support them. Homebreak's one of them. Australia's got a bunch of them. Grand Flavor. They're out there. I'll look right now and I'll put it down on in the description. But there you have it. I'm here at work. It's time to go in, make coffee, and get her underway. Thank you guys for listening. I've been wanting to talk about that for a while now, and now that it's off my chest, I can relax. But I'm gonna talk about it more. So there you have it. I'm out here. Boom.